videos on this, but let's do it. So most of our patients have talked to their doctor. They've had their own experience where they talk about salt, okay? And they've been told no salt. Stay away from salt. Salt is in there. There's actually a tax law in New York where they want to tax food based on the salt content. We agree salt is bad for all patients, including myself, except MGB patients. Okay? So everybody else in the world, all of the other patients, including myself, the nurses who take care of you, your friends and family, we are eating too much salt. And we have an extremely powerful system for controlling salt and water in our bodies. And heavy people, that system is out of whack. They are inappropriately keeping extra salt and water in the body of a heavy person because of the hormonal abnormalities. So you often have swollen ankles, shortness of breath, swollen knee joints, high blood pressure, headaches, sinus problems because of that excess salt and water that's being retained. Within hours of your MGB, everything will change. You will have what we say in medical terms is a massive diuresis. Now, what that means in English is you're going to pee your brains out. Okay? So you will start losing a massive amount of salt water through your kidneys. Now, if you keep the old recommendations that you just talked with, avoiding salt, being careful with salt, things like that, you'll pass out, you won't be able to stand up, and you'll be weak and tired. So you're welcome to do that if you wish, but if you want to feel well, you want to measure your blood pressure, measure how you feel by standing up quickly from a sitting position, and if you're weak and tired when you stand up, it means you need more salt and water.
Can I share my experience with that?
Yeah.
It was very interesting. Before the surgery, I was just borderline, and they just started me on blood pressure medicine. But I was like, sometimes worst case scenario, like 168 over 98. And after the surgery, also my triglycerides were 458. And I had the chronic gout, and there's research where that was tied to heart disease. So I was not in good shape. And after the surgery, a year afterwards, I went into my primary care physician, and I had blood work like a marathon runner. And that was without a lot of exercise. And my sodium levels were all within the normal range. I got most of my sodium through my diet. Only once did I ever have the experience that you talked about, that you really stressed, salt, think about it. Well, I started getting dizzy when I would stand up. And I forgot. And my wife said, maybe you need salt. And I said, yeah, I think you're right. And I went home and I just took plain table salt and ate it. And it went away. And I've never had it since. But I eat a fair amount of salt in my diet now.
Right. Again, everything you said before your question of avoiding salt and being careful of salt is absolutely true for you and everyone in here who doesn't have an MGB. But after the MGB, your body, your hormonal system is going to change so radically you won't be able to recognize the new you. And you can test it if you want.
I'm just worried about so much salt.
I understand your worry. I understand your worry, and it's 100% correct if you don't have an MGB. Once you have an MGB, add salt to everything you eat.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is like immediately after the surgery I can stop taking my blood pressure medicine?
What we're going to do, and we did this with our other patients, who we want you to get a wrist blood pressure cuff that you can buy at the grocery store. That's not what we listen. I want a wrist blood pressure cuff that you keep with you all the time. They'll be in your purse with you. I want you to measure your blood pressure 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, and we're going to pull your blood pressure medicine because the combination of your blood pressure medicine, clonidine, and the MGB may cause you to become hypotensive, and you could fall down and hit your head, break your hip, do something terrible. And then every day we'll talk about your blood pressure, but we hope and pray and expect that we're going to cure your high blood pressure.